Hi everyone, it's JoJo from Mojo Jojo Plans, and welcome to episode 2 of memory planning. And we're just going through all the basics that, to start memory planning. This one specifically, if you're really interested in doing pictures, I wanted to do this one earlier. Because this is a question I get all the time, is how do I print my photos? I literally get this question like every single week. So I'm going to go over step by step the app I use, all that good stuff, and show you how I get my pictures to fit. I use a big vertical Happy Planner. It's just what works for me. Now that does not mean in order to memory plan that you have to use a big vertical. And actually in episode 3, we're going to go over more of different ways that you can memory plan that works for you. So whether that means you want to use a planner, or maybe you like blank pages and creating your own fun stuff. And then there's also a bunch of other companies that have stuff to help you memory plan or memory keep, whatever you want to call it. So we'll go over that next time in episode 3, but I did want to do this one earlier just because this is a question I get all the time, and hopefully this will help you guys out. So the app I use is called PhotoGrid, and yes, I did check. This app is available on like the Play Store for Android and the Apple Store for, like an iPhone, iPad, whatever. So you can get it on either or. I have it pulled up like on my iPad, but I don't have any pictures on here, so I'm not going to use that to show you, but I will do this all from my phone. So you can get this if you have an iPhone or an Android. I love this app. I actually have the subscription. It's a yearly subscription. I want to say it's like $39.99. But I've literally been using this for 5 years. So to me, it's worth it because I can do extra things if I want to. There are a few things like extra steps that you might have to take if you don't get the subscription. But just know, like, you can still accomplish everything you need to accomplish. It just takes like an extra step, but I'll go over what that is as we dive in. So how I do this, how I start with my photos every single week. So I do weekly pictures because I have horrible memory. If I don't do my memory planner every week, I won't remember what's going on. So what I like to do is I created a folder on my phone of all the pictures, and it's called One Print or something like that. Like something like I just know I'm going to print those photos. So at the end of every week, I'll go through my phone. I'll go through all the folders that, I know pictures might have ended up in throughout the week. And I'll put them into this one folder. That way, when I'm in this app, I only have to stay in that folder. I don't have to go in and out of several other folders. I've just found that easier, because my husband sends me pictures. I edit photos, so sometimes they're in like the photo app like folder on my phone. So I just like to put them all in one spot, and then I don't have to worry about it. So to start, I'm going to click this blue button. It says grid. Click that, and it's already opened on my folder, and it says it is One Print. But you can click this button, and then you can find all your other, folders in your phone. But again, I just like to put them all in one folder because then I don't have to worry about it. It also has an option, like you can make a grid with videos. You could do it with just photos. You can kind of separate those things. So this is really great. It's also a really great tool for social media if you like posting things on there as well, and you don't just want to print your pictures. But anyway, all of my photos are in here. If you click this there's like this little bracket in the top left corner, it'll expand your photo so that way you can actually see the full photo, because it is kind of hard to see, when they're just all these tiny squares. And sometimes I take photos in like a square, so sometimes I'll use this just to see how I took the picture originally. That way if I have to plan, this might make it hard to turn into a photo that I want to use to print. So it just kind of depends, but you can kind of look at that so that way you can easily see, your photo. Now, when you're ready to select your photos, you're just going to click on them. Super easy. So I'm just going to randomly click 4 photos, and you can see they turned blue. Now there's this little minus sign in the right corner. If you accidentally selected something, you just click that and it goes away. But I want all those. You can also click down here where it says number 4, because that's how many pictures I have, and then it has like the little picture icon. You can click on that and all of your photos that you have selected will show up. So say I was like, oh, I didn't realize, maybe I couldn't see all the ones I had selected. I can click on this and I can say, oh, I don't think I want that one, and I can go there. Or I'm like, no, I don't want to do any of those, and I can select clear all. So it does have some little buttons in here just to make things easier, but for the sake, I'm going to do just for random photos. You can also click a photo multiple times and add it in several times if you want. But I only need one of them, so I'm just going to add that. So I'm going to select 4 photos, then I'm going to click the next button. Now, as you can see, I'll lift this up just a little bit. As you can see, it's like a 1x1, like Instagram size photo. So that's not going to work for my memory planner. Again, I use a big vertical, which I think is around 3x2 for each photo, or 2x3, however you want to say that. So how I kind of figured out what would work for that is I changed this to a 4x6. So this is already in the layout I want it. I just need the 4 photos separate, nothing fancy. I'm going to go down here to the ratio button, and I'm going to click that. Now, my phone has, my app for some reason has updated so many times over like the last year. I used to have a button, this one says 4x5. I used to have one that said 4x6, and I was so excited when it finally showed up. And then something happened to the app and I had to like delete it and re-download it. And then all of a sudden that button was gone. But before I got that button, I always used to just use this XY, which it's a custom size. So I would always just use this button. Now on this page, how you guys download your app might look different than mine, just because, like, again, I had to like delete it, re-download it a few times. And every time I do, like, something's different. This used to let me do it in inches, but now it's only letting me do it in pixels. So I did have to Google what the pixels for 4x6 were, and I've been using 1200 by 1800, and it's been working just fine for me. So that's what I use. So I'm just going to enter that in and then click done. And then from there you can see my picture changed. All of them are bigger, they're all taller. I usually take my photos in 3x4 anyway, or 2x3 anyway, or 3x4. What do I take them in? 2x3 anyway, so that way they fit nicely in here. I usually do it that way anyway. An extra step, if you haven't purchased the subscription of this app, that you might have to do is you're going to have to scroll over and remove the watermark. The nice thing is you can remove the watermark for free. It's not one of those apps where it's like, oh, you have to buy it. You would just scroll over and click this watermark button, and then usually this is the watermark that's up. Let me see if I could put it on there. Oh, I see. It's like it put multiple. I didn't realize I put multiple. But just say I didn't have the subscription. Usually there's a watermark down here in the bottom corner. Usually you can just click on it, you go to PhotoGrid, and then you go to the little like stop thingy and you remove it, and then it will go away. So even if you don't have the subscription, you can remove the watermark. So I know people will ask about that, so I just want to put that there, but I don't have it because I have the subscription, so I don't have to do that anymore. Something that you can play with as well is maybe you want to have a border around each photo, so you can kind of change and you can move this in and out. Maybe you want borders on here. Maybe you don't want to cut these pictures out once they're printed. You can add these fun like little nice borders around them, and like, oopsies, I didn't mean to save that. And then it just like will look nice. So say I wanted to leave all those pictures on there and just stick them in my planner as is, like, you totally could do that. Sometimes playing with these borders is fun. There are a few that have this little crown. That just means you have to have this subscription in order to use them. But there are like some fun extra things that you can add on here just to make it look fun. But I'm just going to keep it regular. So normally that is all I do. I literally just change the size, remove the watermark, change the size, and then I save it. And that's it. That's how I get my photos, the size, and then I send them to Walgreens. You can send them to Walmart, CVS, anywhere that has a photo printer. Or if you have a really good printer that you know you can print at home, you could totally do it that way. I've just been using Walgreens because I used to use Costco, but now they don't do in-store photo printing, and I don't want to wait for them to come in the mail because I don't have that time. But probably like when I do a project that is like bigger, I might just order them online from Costco. But that's literally it. Now, if I want to keep creating more at this point, I won't select done. I'm actually going to select the back button, and I'm going to go back, and then I'm going to click leave. then I'm going to go down here and click clear all. And the reason is if I select, you know, a couple more photos, then when I click ratio and go to custom, I don't have to re-enter those numbers in. They're still there from the last time I used them. And then I'll literally just do that until I'm done. Because if I click the done button and then I go back in to do it again, I'm just going to do my husband's photo, and I go back to ratio, it's going to make me re-input those numbers. So that's why I just click the back button the first time I do it, so that way I don't have to do that. So hopefully that makes sense on how I print, or at least how I get my photos to be this size. Now, other reasons why I love this app is because you can get different layouts. So say you're not using a big vertical happy planner, or you don't care that they don't fit in the box perfectly, or whatever that might be. So I could let's take like 5 photos. I think that's 5. And I'm going to click next. Something that's really fun, I'm still going to do it in 4x6 just for the sake of this one. And then I'll show you another size example as well. And definitely when you're thinking of sizes, think of sizes that you would get in like a photo. So like 4x6, 5x7, you could even do 8x10 and then just have a bunch of pictures be on one and then just pay for that one 8x10. I actually haven't done that yet, but that would definitely be a fun thing to do. So I size it, it's a 4x6. You can go over here to layout and you can change the layout. So say I wanted to have a 4x6 printed and I want them to just be like something I don't cut. Maybe I just put it down, but I want it to have a more fun layout on it. Now, again, some of these have the pink ground, which means you can't use it unless you have the subscription. But I could do something fun like this, where like I have this in a little heart, and you can adjust and move things around so that way they fit a little bit better, fit more the way that you want them to. Make sure they're like filling in the space how you want them to. So you can just click, tap, and, you know, move the photos. And you can, again, do that with the other ones. But then look how fun that layout is. And then I could have that printed out and then boom, done. Like I can just slap that into a planner or on maybe a page. Maybe you're focusing more on journaling. And so you're like, okay, let me pick my top 5 photos that from, you know, whatever I'm planning, slap that on the page, and then I can journal about all those photos. And again, you're not limited to 5. This is just showing you all the layouts that you can do with 5 photos. Now, if I had more photos selected, I'm going to go back and then I'm just going to grab like a couple more photos. So now I have, let's do 9. I feel like doing odd numbers, especially for some of these layouts, is easier. Let me change the size. Okay, so now it's giving me some like different layouts. So that's kind of fun. Something like really simple. So if you don't want to cut them, this could be a really fun way to just, ooh, that one's cool. And then again, you can click on them, move them around, adjust them if they're like messed up a little bit. But look how fun that looks. That's a fun layout. But this could be a really fun way if you're not interested in cutting the photos and you just want all the photos, you know, in one spot, and you just want to have one spot on your page where you can then just journal about it. So that's a really great way to do that. Now, I'll show you guys how I print photos for my monthly. So I do a photo a day on my monthly spread in my planner, and I do that by doing 12 photos. So obviously there's only 7 days of the week, so usually a couple of the photos are literally just a filler, which is okay. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to select 12 photos, and usually I'll try to pick one from each day, and then sometimes I'll have some extra ones just in case one doesn't work out. So I have 12 photos in here. I'm going to click ratio, and luckily 5x7 is already on here. So I'm going to scroll over. It says 7x5, and I'm going to click that one. 7x5, and then it's really tiny. So this is size. So now I can send this to a photo printer and make sure that I select 7x5 or 5x7, and then they'll print it in this size. So, and then again, you can go in, you can use your fingers to like pinch and zoom, twist it around, whatever you might need to do to adjust your photo. And then again, I would just click save. So pretty simple for how to use this app. I really, really like this app, like I said, and I feel like I honestly haven't used a lot of the other stuff on here, but I've literally been using this every week for at least 5 years, if not more than that. So it is one of my favorite apps, but there's so many things, and you literally could just play around with, you know, different layouts on here. So now let's select 12 and see like what other layouts that gives me. I still want to do 5x7 because I think in that you would still need it to be bigger. So it doesn't have as many options, but there's definitely some different options for how you can have these laid out. Again, some of them are very specific to the size that you're using, but this is just a fun app to kind of play around with. So something to keep in mind, but that's what I use. So hopefully this helped answer any questions on this app. Now from there, I can show you how I print them. I don't have actual prints with me. I do have some of these, which these are some of the photos that you've seen printed. So normally when I receive them, just for sake, normally they come like this, right? Like 4x6, this is what they look like. And then I literally just take a paper trimmer and then I just cut them, you know, I cut them long ways, cut them in half, and then I end up with the smaller size of the photos. So that's literally all I do. Nothing special. The big ones, the 5x7 for my monthly, I use a punch and then I just go in and I punch out what I want. This is a Fiskar punch. I want to say this one's 1.5, something like that, maybe 1 inch, 1.5. I got mine at Joann's, but you can also get them on Amazon. But this is what I use to punch out the pictures for my monthly spread. And I'll show you those examples in just a second. But let me show you where I go and a little hack. So I use Walgreens. I always send my photos to Walgreens. Like I said, I used to do it at Costco. It was a lot cheaper, but I've also figured out how to make Walgreens a little bit cheaper. Okay, so I just had to take my phone off of airplane mode. So something I learned to look for is to look for a coupon on Google. So I'm just going to type in 50% off Walgreens. That's it. I'm just going to type that in and then we're going to see what that pulls up. 50% off Walgreens. Then I always select this one that says Coupon Cabin because that's just the one that's like no BS. It doesn't make me open other things in order to open it. I'm going to click on that one. I'm going to go down to one that says like photo prints. Usually it's a 50% off and I'm going to click on that. And then it's going to tell me I can use code LOVEPRINT for February for photos. So then I'm going to click out of there. I'm going to go to my Walgreens app. I'm going to go to photo. I'm going to go to prints, select my device. Then I have to find my photo grid folder because that's where all the pictures saved. And then my photos are right there. So I can just select them. So I'm just going to select the 3. And those are going to load. Now this is the one that we did as a 5x7. So right now it says it's a 4x6. I wanted a 5x7, so I'm going to select 5x7. It's going to update it and change that one. All the other ones are perfectly fine because they're already sized as a 4x6. Then I'm going to click add photo to cart, view cart. Then I'm going to enter that promo code. So it was love-print. And then I'm going to click add. And then you can see it removed $1.88. So it went from $3.75 to $1.87. Now, of course, when I go pick up my photos, I mean, I'm going to have to pay a little bit of tax on that, but it's still at least cheaper than paying full price, which the first like month or two, I was just paying full price for them. And then I was like, I need to just start looking up coupon codes. And then I started doing that and I've been doing that ever since. And sometimes on the app, there's like a 25% off, but like when I could be getting 50% off, why would I use that? So yeah, so that's how all I do. I send those to my local Walgreens and I grab them and then, you know, they come in just like this as a 4x6 and then I just have to go in and cut them. So that's how I get my photos. Hopefully that this was super helpful. Again, that's my favorite app to use. Yes, there are several other apps. I think PicStitch is one. I can't remember. There are lots of like sizing grid like apps, but PhotoGrid's just the one that I use all the time. It's my absolute favorite. It's my go-to. So I recommend this app. And again, it is available for Android and iOS, so definitely make sure to check that out. But let me just show you what I was talking about. So these are the photos that I had on the 5x7. I literally just take that punch and then I add them, and I feel like it sizes it really nicely for them to fit, you know, nicely in here. And then of course we have the photos in my big memory planner. So that's how I do that, and that's a really good tool, again, if you're wanting to size them for whatever you're using. So if you're using some other kind of system, there's lots of different sizes down here, or you can just do the custom size, which to figure out the pixels, I literally just typed in what is 4x6 in pixels, and then it gave me the 1200 by 1800. So if there's like a certain size that you're needing to know the custom for it for pixels, literally just Google it and you'll find it. But there's lots of different size options. There's 5x3, 5x4. You can do a 5x7 vertical. So really whatever you need, and then whatever it doesn't have, you can just do a custom size for it. So hopefully this helps you guys on how to size your photos for your memory planner. Like I said, in our episode 3, I'm going to be going over more of the different types of things that you can use to start memory planning, right? So I use a big vertical happy planner. That might not work for everybody, but I know there's like the We Are Memory Keepers system. I think Heidi Swap has a system for memory keeping. There's lots of different ways to do this. You could literally just use blank pages. So we'll kind of go over that in more detail in episode 3, but I really just wanted to make sure I got this photo question out sooner than later, because it's the question that I get all the time. But at least now you can start compiling your photos, getting them ready, so that way you're ready to go when you're wanting to start your memory planning journey. But anyway, there you go, you guys. Episode 2 of our memory planning series. I so hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to give a thumbs up and subscribe, and I hope I'll see you in my next one. Bye!